It was supposed to be just another Tuesday morning at Millie's Corner Cafe, a small, bustling diner tucked into the heart of a working-class neighborhood. The smell of coffee, the clatter of dishes, and the hum of conversation painted the scene of normalcy. But behind the counter, 24-year-old Aria James was already pushing through exhaustion, working 2 jobs, going to school at night, and helping her grandmother at home. Aria didn't have time to be tired, and yet she wore a warm smile as she refilled cups and scribbled down orders. She was used to the hustle. What she wasn't used to was what happened that morning. At 8:37 a.m., a man walked in, white late 50s, dressed in a crisp business shirt with the sleeves rolled up. His name was Gerald Blake. He chose the corner booth, the one near the window, and flagged Aria down with a snap of his fingers. Right away, Aria felt a weird tension in the air. He didn't say hello, didn't ask for the menu, just pointed and muttered, "Get me coffee, 2 sugars, now." Still professional, Aria nodded, brought his coffee, and placed it down gently. But Gerald was already annoyed. "Are you deaf or just slow?" I said, "Girl." Aria blinked, confused. She had only taken a minute. But the use of girl, the tone, the disrespect, wasn't lost on her. She gave a polite smile, said, "I'll be back to take your order in a moment," and walked away, trying to brush it off. She'd dealt with rude customers before, but this felt different. Over the next few minutes, things escalated. Gerald complained that the coffee was too hot, then too cold. He accused Aria of being lazy, like all you people, his voice low but cutting. She tried to stay calm, not want to cause a scene. Her manager, Linda, was in the back. The other servers were too busy to notice, but someone was watching. Sitting at the bar, just a few feet away, was Malik Thompson, a 32-year-old local who often came in to write in his journal. A quiet guy, kept to himself. But today, something told him to pay attention. Malik had seen enough. He hit a record, just in case. "Gerald, I asked for wheat toast, not this burnt garbage. Do you even speak English, sweetheart?" Aria, trying to stay professional, "Sir, I'm happy to fix it for you." Gerald, raising his voice, "What you should fix is your attitude. Or maybe go back to wherever you came from." The entire diner froze. A fork clinked onto a plate. Someone coughed awkwardly. A mother pulled her child closer. But Aria, she didn't say a word. She turned and walked to the kitchen, her hands shaking. What Gerald didn't know was that Aria wasn't alone in this world. She had people, and those people were about to show up. 10 minutes later, the door swung open. In walked Letty James, Aria's older sister, small, fierce, and unapologetic. She'd gotten Malik's text and came on her break from the community clinic where she worked. Letty walked straight over to her sister, who was wiping tears from her eyes by the sink. "Letty, who is he?" Aria, "Just leave it alone, Letty." Letty, "No, not today." Letty approached his booth calmly. Letty, "Sir, I don't know who hurt you this morning, but you don't get to take it out on my sister." Gerald scoffed. "Who invited you, Miss Social Justice?" Letty, without flinching, "You harassed a young woman doing her job. You used racist language. You demeaned her in public, and you thought no one would say anything." Gerald stood up, puffed his chest. "I don't have to take this. Where's your manager?" At that moment, Linda finally emerged from the back. She'd heard enough to understand what was going on, and Malik, still recording, subtly waved her over. "Linda!" "Sir, we're asking you to leave." Gerald, "I'm a paying customer." "Linda!" "Not anymore." As Gerald fumed, arguing loudly and drawing attention, Malik uploaded the video to social media with the caption, "White man verbally abuses young black waitress. She stays calm. Her sister doesn't. Hashtag Millie's Corner, hashtag stand up." Within 20 minutes, it had been shared over 3,000 times. By lunchtime, it hit 50K. By the end of the day, over 1 million views. The next morning, a line stretched down the block. People came in not for the food, but for Aria. Flowers were dropped off. Notes of support were pinned to the counter. One little girl handed Aria a card that read, You are strong. He was wrong. News outlets showed up. Linda gave a brief statement. We stand with Aria. We don't tolerate hate here. But Gerald Blake? He didn't show his face again. Instead, within days, internet sleuths uncovered that he was a former city zoning official with a history of complaints, many of which have been swept under the rug. Now the rug is gone. Petitions demanded an investigation. Old victims spoke up. Former colleagues confirmed he had made derogatory comments in the workplace for years. Gerald had tried to shrink a young woman with words. Instead, he exposed himself. Aria appeared on a local morning show, sitting beside Letty. Host, Aria, how do you feel watching the video now? Aria, softly, I wish I had stood up for myself, but I'm proud I stayed calm, and I'm grateful for the people who stood up with me. Letty, smiling, and next time, she won't have to stay calm. Audience laughs and claps. The cafe now had a sign in the window that read, "Respect lives here. Racism doesn't." What happened at Millie's wasn't just about one man being cruel. It was about how far we've come and how far we still have to go. It was about a stranger hitting record instead of looking away. It was about a sister refusing to stay silent. And most of all, it was about a young black woman who, just by standing in her truth, showed the world what grace under fire looks like. Because sometimes the people with the least power in the room are the ones who change everything. Aria James now co-manages the cafe with Linda. Letty speaks regularly at community schools about standing up against discrimination. Gerald Blake resigned from his position and issued a public apology, but many believe the apology came only after he lost everything. If you believe in standing up against hate, hit subscribe for more real stories that matter. Tell us, what would you have done if you saw this happening?